Howdy folks, and welcome to the grooviest, geekiest channel on YouTube, Groovy Geeky. Today we're going to look at one of the unsung heroes of 80s pop. A truly excellent band who would only produce 2 albums before going their separate ways, and a band that had to work twice as hard to escape from the shadow of their past, as members of one of the most iconic bands in music history. Today, we're having all the fun, with 3 boys, that sounds creepy. Anyways, enough trying to make a pun, we're talking about Fun Boy Free. It is sad when any band breaks up, and I am sure that to young music lovers in the early 80s, the splitting of the Specials must have been heartbreaking. The Specials were truly something special, combining ska reggae with pop and punk sensibilities, and later bringing in a dub influence to create music which still to this day defines what we see as 80s political music, with Ghost Town being a true timeless masterpiece. They released 2 albums before Terry Hall, Neville Staple and Lynval Golding would split due to differences with other members of the band and the aggressive touring lifestyle, whilst the rest of the band would continue as The Specials, or sometimes The Specials aka, returning to a more traditional reggae sound. Hall, Staple and Golding went on to form Fun Boy Free. Fun Boy Free focused more on the pop elements of the weighty mix that was The Specials, highlighting Terry Hall's pop star good looks and beautiful singing voice, which feels powerful yet emotionally exposed. Staple and Golding would provide backing vocals as well as guitar and percussion. These guys debuted with an amazing album of minimalist pop music, emphasizing the percussive beats and letting the singing glide over the top, often heavily reverberated to create a unique, hazy, smoky, almost druggy sound that recalls Lee Scratch Perry's dub productions. There is absolutely nothing that sounds like this album, where interlocking vocals create a complementary rhythm which interlocks and plays with the percussion in such a unique way. It is an absolute belter of an album, with The Lunatics Have Taken Over the Asylum being a highlight on an album of highlights. A cynical teardown of the political situation of the 1980s, which saw Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher in control of 2 countries with nuclear weapons. It's an excellently haunting melody. Other highlights include The Telephone Always Rings, in which Hall explores his anxiety, preferring to stay alone at home, and It Ain't What You Do, It's the Way That You Do It, which turns an old jazz standard into a hypnotic fever dream, and also served as many people's introduction to future megastars Bananarama, who sung backing vocals for the album. It Ain't What You Do rocketed to number 4 in the charts and cemented not only Fun Boy Free as a band to keep an eye on, but also Bananarama. who returned the favour by featuring the Three Boys of Fun in their next single, a cover of an old Motown song, Really Saying Something, which just sounds fun and playful, and a stark contrast to what Fun Boy 3 had sounded like up to this point. In 1982, the trio would release a superb version of the George and Ira Gershwin classic Summertime, combining the song's sublime melodies with Fun Boy 3's trademark percussion-heavy production style. It is one of the best pop renditions of this song, and well worth checking out. With Fun Boy 3, it's really hard to keep them in your head as one solid unit without any standout members, and that's because it really feels like Terry Hall was the leading force, standing out not just for his eccentric hair, but his powerful and bitter lyrics, which are like bullets piercing their targets with a fearsome, satirical wit, whilst never feeling exaggerated or overindulgent. He would also take a different approach to his lyrics than when he was with the Specials, focusing more on personal reflections than just biting commentary of society at large. Hall has suffered with depression for virtually his whole life, and so was able to use Fun Boy 3 as a vehicle to express some of his haunted thoughts and memories and communicate to them, to his friends, family, and even the world at large, in a way that was more comfortable to him than direct one-to-one conversations. This is an element of their music which is often overlooked, as Fun Boy 3 are generally considered to be simply carrying on with the political themes of the Specials, but they are so much more than that. They are three musicians maturing and developing their style, and a fantastic songwriter flourishing without having to worry about the politics and constraints of being in such a large, influential band. In 1983 would see our heroes release their second and ultimately final studio album, Waiting. Produced by David Byrne of Talking Heads fame, we get a true masterpiece, taking all that had made the first album so good and just taking it into a more pop-friendly sounding direction, whilst retaining and refining the themes and progressing the songwriting to all new highs. Whilst it lacks the hazy, reverb-heavy sound of their debut, it is still characterised by vocal melodies weaving around a percussion-led sound. Just here, there are extra embellishments to give more sonic variety and depth to the music. Lyrically, the album is as savage as it is vulnerable, with the second song, The More I See, containing Hall's most acidic and direct lyrics. But now he seems almost fatigued by the troubles of the Irish border, like, oh no, is this still going on? Which is very relevant even still to this day, with the current Brexit negotiations being almost revolving around the Irish border at this point in time. This is followed by Going Home, a song focusing on racist politicians wanting to deport non-white people. Again, this is an issue that has returned to the forefront of British politics, as the fallout of the Windrush scandal reveals new disturbing revelations on an almost weekly basis. And not forgetting Farmyard Connection, a song about how people are forced to risk their livelihoods growing weed as they are unable to find conventional work. Songs like We're Having All the Fun and Tunnel of Love showcase Hall's acerbic wit pointed towards the idea of a normal life, where nothing is achieved. Also of note is the collaboration with the Go-Go's, Our Lips Are Sealed, which is about Jane wheedling of the Go-Go's and Terry Hall's brief affair. And perhaps most importantly, the song Well Fancy That, in which Hall reveals the story of his sexual abuse at the age of 12. A song which was shockingly frank and open, and its inclusion reveals Hall to be one of the bravest songwriters of his generation. Waiting was a critical success, receiving near universal praise for the high quality songs, brutally honest and acidic lyrics, excellent singing, and its amazingly polished production that not only showed the versatility of Funboy Free, but also that of David Byrne, with many critics pointing out how this album sounded absolutely nothing like anything he had done with the Talking Heads. However, the album was not a huge commercial success, and the band would break up with the three of them going on various solo projects or collaborations with others. Terry Hall in particular would work on various excellent projects like The Colourfield and Vegas. All three would rejoin the Specials at various points, with only Hall and Golding still current members now, and with a new Specials album of original material lined up for 2019, it's an excellent time for fans of the band. However, despite this, we must always remember and never forget the brief but excellent band known as Funboy Free, who are often relegated to just a Specials spin-off in the history books, but truly deserve to be loved and respected on their own merits. I hope you enjoyed this episode, as Funboy Free are a band I'm always happy to suggest to people, and have wanted to talk about since the beginning of this series. Their music is excellent, and so was Terry Hall's hair. I'll catch you next time for some more groovy geeky fun, and if you enjoyed this and want to hear about more interesting bands and musicians, or maybe some stuff about geek culture, maybe subscribe and ring that little bell thingy. Also, likes are appreciated. So till next time, bye!